when people think of archaeology. They usually think that you're digging in the dirt in the hot, sweltering desert sun, and that you're pulling out these giant dinosaur bones, or you stumble upon this giant temple in the middle of the jungle. A lot of archaeology is looking through glorified trash. In the case of any sort of food archaeology, which we would do to kind of look at subsistence living, you're looking at the food trash. You're looking at these piles of stuff that people have left behind in these kind of layered trash heaps on the site, which have then been excavated by my professor and another archaeologist. Think when you're walking down the street, this is gonna be disgusting. You're walking down a city street and you just see like a chicken wing bone on the ground. This is a glorified version of that, but with more bones. And it's like everybody came together and agreed on one spot to throw the chicken wing bones. And then 500 years later, someone came across it and was like, yes, now we get to look at what people ate 500 years ago. I'm looking at shells from 2 sites on Chirikov Island, which is just south of Kodiak Island in Alaska. What comes out of it is what people ate and engaged with and threw away. So we've taken from that the bird bones and sent somewhere else fish bones, mammal bones, and then what I'm working on is the shell and shellfish. So for this, a lot of the time, it's me taking my little pile of crumbs and going through and seeing what I can identify. Does this look like a mussel shell? Does this look like a little limpet snail? Will I be able to know what this is? I find sorting and organizing things into categories immensely satisfying. There's something very satisfying about like putting it in a little bag and giving it a label and a name and putting it in a box. Very minimal research has been done on Chirikov Island. There's only been 1 or 2 other archaeologists that have done excavations there. So looking at the kind of species that are here, after I've done all the quantifying and sorting, we can say like, oh, this species is really only available for harvest for these months, and this species is really only available for harvest this month. You can kind of piece together like a little overlapping Venn diagram of when they must have occupied the site. So when I was talking to my first advisor, she asked me like, oh, like, and what are you interested in archaeology? And I was like, oh, like put on the spot, like I shouldn't have expected that question. And so I just kind of was like, oh, animals, because I've always been interested in animals. And then here we are today with bones in my house. So these are some bones I have at home. This one was a little muskrat jaw that my roommate bought in a curiosity shop. Knowing that like each little piece is formed in like such a specific way to allow like the motion and the life actions and life in general. I don't know, it's like imprinted on the bone, like what the animal is able to do. And that's just really cool. And then it's just always been a constant in my life to have like a little zoo of living animals in the house. I grew up with a ton of pets. We had birds, we had a dog, we had cats, I had hamsters, we have goldfish, we had hermit crabs. Actually, now that I think about it, that's like every category possible except for maybe bugs. I feel like just exposure to like the full, this is gonna sound really depressing, the full life cycle is really eye-opening as a child. So that definitely directed where my focus landed on animal-connected archaeology specifically. I don't think every animal lover wants to kind of touch the bones of every animal they've ever seen, but it's always interesting to kind of like look at it and touch it and be like, you had like a full life and you were a full living being, and projecting that kind of level of meaning onto it is always kind of significant. I love what I'm doing here. I really enjoy it. It's definitely not the Indiana Jones that comes to mind, but it's kind of cool because nobody, I think, throws away like their food at the end of the night and says somebody will look at this in 500 years and try and tell what I ate and tell where I got it from. And I kind of like that domestic side of it, where it's like, I almost think like more personal. A person picked this from the ocean, and a person brought this somewhere else, and a person cracked it open and did something with the inside, and then the person threw it away. I think it's always coming back to kind of the motivations of people and the ways that they're leaving traces of life behind, intentionally or not.